Welcome, ladies, to your 9:30. What day is it? Monday? Zoom class. You made it. You're here. I'm so proud of you. You should be proud of yourselves. We're going to go ahead and get started with our warm-up here. Dave, if you'll start the cue for me. We're going to begin with a little side to side.
The next workout will begin in 60 seconds. Please proceed to a station.
So we're moving the whole body to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Core stays nice and tight. And we are up, stacked right on top of our hips. Chest is nice and open, neck is nice and long. There's a string pulling up the top of that head. Beautiful posture. Let's bring the arms to a 90-degree bend in the front. The chest, figuring out our range of motion today. Open wide. Good. So if you have any shoulder issues, here's where we kind of discover where things are today. So if you feel you kind of have to be down here, that's okay. If you have to keep it kind of narrow, that's okay too. Or you can be up high.
Begin set 1.
Wide and proud. For 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go ahead and start on one leg. Other leg is tapped down. Hand on the hip. Other arm straight up. We're bringing that elbow to the knee. So here we've got balance, obviously. Core is nice and tight, and we're squeezing that oblique. Squeeze. The shoulder stays down as the neck is nice and long. Good. Exhale, inhale.
Stop exercise.
Good. 1, 2, 2 more. Right here, and let's go from side to side once again. Arms up, open, close, open, close. Moving through those breaks.
Begin set
4,
2.
3, 2, 1. Here we go on the other side. Weight on that other leg, tap that toe down, arm is up, elbow to knee, and extend. Now you notice I am touching my foot to the floor, but I'm not putting my weight all the way back on it. I'm keeping my weight primarily, for me it's on my right leg. Squeeze, whoop, almost fell over. Good, beautiful. Now today, for your equipment, a mat, obviously.
Stop exercise.
Some hand weights, and something you can
You're muted, Nicole.
Ridiculous. Thank you. I can't believe I've been talking a bunch with the mute on. That's good. Probably made a bunch of really dumb jokes that you guys really didn't need to hear. So core is tight. So as I was saying, set 4, let's go into a hamstring curl. Bringing that heel straight up the back of the thigh. And we were working the chest earlier, now let's add a row. Our equipment for today, mat, set of hand weights as usual. Also something you can hang on to. Pretty good counter, edge of a counter, or the back of your couch. Something sturdy enough that if you were to kind of hang on to it and send some of your body weight down, it wouldn't tip over, please. Good. For me, it's going to be this pole right here.
Stop exercise. Good. To the next station.
All right, and I think, ladies, one of you might be unmuted. Go ahead.
Hey Dave, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
All right.
Also, we can hear upstairs.
How
You need to shut the
Good
door
last day.
upstairs.
How you feeling?
Begin now.
Didn't have time to go get water for mascara, so I'm just sad, trying not to cry.
Hey, can we log in because I'm concerned that My audio's on.
Might be Dave who's at home. He watches in on another device to make sure that he's letting people in and everything. So. Good.
Stop, exercise.
Beautiful. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the other side. So essentially this is a chair position as our starting position. Our feet are all the way together, feet together, weight in the heels, and you're hanging on to whatever you hang on to.
Begin
So that you
set
can
two.
get that chest really nice and high. Set two. We're going to take that other leg back, tapping the toe down and tapping it back together. Now again, we are not putting our weight on that moving foot. It's a feather-light tap. And if you want this to be harder, one of the easiest ways to make this harder is to just go down lower. If your knee doesn't like that, that is okay. A shallow is fine. Good. But we should be feeling a fair amount of burning in the quads and the glutes.
Stop, exercise.
Good. Now we're going to take a break here, or if you want to challenge yourself, you're just going to hold that chair position without moving. Or, you know, if you're feeling extra crazy, you can add a little, tiny little pulse there. Beautiful.
Begin set three.
But when we go into the set, when that foot starts to move, the rest of the body is extraordinarily stable and still. You'll notice my leg isn't moving. I'm not shifting my body back and forth. Very still, except for that teeny little tapping foot. Good. Beautiful. And the reason this tends to burn so much is because this is more than just an isometric hold for that front
Stop,
leg,
exercise.
although it is certainly that. Take the break only if you need to. It also has to adjust as that moving leg taps and taps. All the weight is in that front leg.
Begin
But
set four.
our body weight and the distribution of our body weight shifts every time that foot moves. So that leg has to adjust every time. Tiny little adjustments in that quad, micro contractions, gets extra burn. And I know you all love extra burn. It's like getting extra stuffing or extra turkey. I hope you
Stop,
all had a nice
exercise,
Thanksgiving,
and
by the
switch
way.
to the next
Let's come on up to
position.
standing. Whew, it is time to come to our mats. Plank time. See, I'm taking off my layers here. All right. So, we're going to begin with our normal plank. Now, one thing
Begin
that I've been
set
emphasizing a lot lately, go and begin your set one. Forearms back, but I'm going to talk you through. One thing that I've been emphasizing a lot lately with our planks is the front of the body. This is, as you know, a core exercise, but a lot of times people feel it mostly in the shoulders, but they'll start to feel it in the lower back. The idea is that we're taking this long front muscle and we're squeezing it like an accordion. The hips and the ribs coming together, lacing together and cinching
Stop,
closed.
exercise.
You can take your break if you need to. Now I'll demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about here. So here's a bad lower back, right? Not great. This position haunts my
Begin
nightmare.
set two.
So what I want you to do, we often say tuck your tailbone between your legs, right? That's gonna flatten out that lower back. But then it's time to focus on the ab muscles, squeezing those hips up toward the bottom of the ribs. Now you'll also notice that I'm dropping my hips somewhat. You want to be right in line. When I say drop hips, I don't mean sag them. That's not good either. We want that flat back. We want the hips in line. No sagging, no bowing.
Stop, exercise.
Take a break. Go into child's pose if you like. Whew. Now the reason I'm doing this emphasis is because as we go into fancier planks, A lot of times we forget about all the work that's happening in the front here. It's always a good idea.
Begin
Here and
set
there,
3.
return back to the basics. So here's set 3. I'll do this with you guys. Whew. Tuck your tailbone, belly button in. Now, that long abdominal muscle runs up and down the front of your body is squeezing. Squeezing right here, squeezing like an accordion, pulling those hip bones up. That's going to cause a little rotation of the pelvis. That's what tucks the tailbone. Not necessarily your booty so much, although your glutes are engaged.
Stop.
It's
Exercise.
all in the abs. Drop your knees, hips back into child's pose if you need to. Well, I mean, technically it is more than the abs. It's, you know, you've got the quads going, you have the shoulders going. But I want you to only think about the
Begin
abs.
set 4.
Good, set 4. Last one. Tucking that tailbone, squeezing that butt, rolling those hip bones up to your ribs. Good, legs are nice and straight, glutes are nice and squeezed, elbows driving into the mat, your lower abs, rotating that pelvis up toward the bottom of your rib cage. Nearly there, ladies. Good.
Stop exercise and switch to the next
Beautiful.
position.
All right, so we're gonna go into our glute work next. Hands and knees, like so, or if your wrists are very tired today, you can come down to the mat. We're gonna go into a donkey kick. This is a bent knee.
Begin set 1.
The heel comes up to the sky and we pulse. Now, if your lower back is tender, that's what you'll stick with. But if you have your hand weights nearby and you want to challenge, you're going to rack the hand weight behind the knee, just as I've done right here. If you haven't gotten a chance to do that yet on this first round, but you want to try it, that's okay. Try it for set 2, because we're going to do both sets on the same side. Now here's the thing about donkey kicks.
Stop
A few things I see
exercise.
a lot. I see a lot of bowing to try to get that height. I also see a lot of rotating outward of that hip. We want to avoid both. The hips are nice and even, the back is nice and flat, the belly button's pulled in tightly. Now if you're
Begin
down
set 2.
on your elbows, again, that is absolutely fine, but this position is technically easier than the high up on the hands. So you're probably going to need to get that foot up a little higher. Good. If you haven't tried the weight yet, you want to give it a try, now's the time. Please keep in mind you want to keep things even on the other side. So you did not do a weight for set 1 and then added it for set 2. You're going to do the same thing for sets 3 and 4. No weight and then weight.
Stop exercise.
Woo. Or if you're crazy like me, you added the weight right away. Good, and I'm going to turn around so you can see that leg moving. All right. So again, I'm just going to reiterate.
Begin
Up on
set
the
3.
hands, not that high with the leg. Down on the elbows, you're going to be able to get up higher without bowing your back. I'm going to stay high. Now, another thing I want you to keep in mind, the weight in the supporting leg right here. A lot of times people tend to sit into that hip. They'll kind of drive all of their weight into that booty. I want you to look down at that knee and try to center it directly underneath where it connects to the hip. So what's going to
Stop
happen
exercise.
is if you shift your weight out, that thigh is going to be at this kind of severe diagonal. If you center your weight, the thigh will be going almost perpendicular to the floor. Woo. So I am going to try not to take a break here. It's going to be really tough.
Begin
Notice
set 4.
how slow my pulses are. Slow. No bouncing. I see a lot of like quick, abrupt pulses when we do donkey kicks. Keep it slow. Keep it smooth. Keep it focused. Keep the back flat. Keep it isolated in that glute. Keep your weight centered above the supporting knee. If you're on your elbows, you're going to keep it high. See how much higher I can get? It's It's easier this way. Good. So you need to
Stop
compensate.
exercise and switch to the next station.
That was great. Good job, me. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and grab your other weight. We're gonna lie down on our back. Time for chest presses. So, there are two ways we can do this.
Begin set
Either
one.
a wide or a narrow. One of them is gonna be better for your shoulder. Or, you'll just have a preference. But either is legitimate. Just go ahead and get it started. Then you notice I'm going a little bit briskly. I wouldn't even say quick. Going quick implies a lack of control. But, keeping it real steady, down, up. We want to bend those elbows to 90
Stop
degrees. When I
exercise.
say 90, I'm going to turn a little bit so you can kind of see. We don't want them falling in, nor do we want them flaring out. This is a chest fly, much different. So 90 degrees, or if your arms are narrow, like so, still 90
Begin
degrees.
set two.
Now I'm going to go into narrow so you can see what I'm talking about. You start with your arms parallel to each other and perpendicular to the floor. You come down to 90, so they're not coming back like this. They're not coming in toward each other, nor are they falling out. We don't want any weird rotator cuff stuff. So hopefully now, you've got perfect chest press form. No matter which one you've chosen, it's perfect. Why don't we add a little spice to this? Let's squeeze the
Stop
booty. We're gonna bring that
exercise.
butt up. Good. Go ahead and take a break for your upper body, but you're gonna leave your booty up off the ground. Squeeze your glutes. I know we just did glutes. You just did those donkey kicks. They were wild. Now we're doing bridges. These are new leggings.
Begin
Write it
set
down.
three.
Set three has begun. Choose your favorite chest press, but you're gonna keep that booty up. Multitasking. Now, if your lower back feels a little tender today, just don't come up too high. You're just gonna barely float above the floor. But if you're feeling good, if your glutes feel strong, back feels strong, you can come up a little higher. Drive through the heels. Good. Shoulders are down, away from the ears. Arms should be
Stop
burning.
exercise.
Woo, good. Now I'm gonna take a break from my upper body. I'm gonna add pulse during this break. You can either take a full break, drop your hips, or you can keep it isometric, or you can pulse, up to you. I'm not gonna quibble.
Begin set four.
Good. Set four, I'm gonna go back to wide because those narrow ones are really hard and they're killing me. So the hips have now come to stillness. Still up off the ground, but no more pulsing or down and up. I find it just kind of levels things. Woo. Very good. Beautiful. At the end of this set, we are going to stay lying down on our backs. Beautiful.
Stop exercise and
All
switch
right.
to the next
Go ahead
station.
and drop your hips. Weights come down by your sides. You're going to lie back and just go ahead and just very gently pull the knees into the chest, a little stretch. Especially after those bridges, should feel pretty good. Okay.
Begin set one.
You're gonna lace your hands together to make a basket. That's gonna go in the back of the center of your skull, not the neck, okay? I find this helps my neck stay relaxed. Both legs are straight up in the air. Lower back is flat against the mat. Belly button is in as you crunch. So here's the thing about crunches. One thing I see a lot is this. Elbows tucked in, chin tucked in, and you're sending your nose to your pubic bone. No.
Stop
Elbows stay
exercise.
wide, neck stays open, and I want you to try to send your nose, not your chin, your nose to the ceiling. Good. Go ahead and take this break if you need to, especially for your quads and your hip flexors. They're probably getting tired.
Begin set two.
All right, set two. We're switching it up just a touch. One leg is going to stay up in the air. Other leg comes down, and you hold. Hold. Now, the depth of that leg is up to you. You can drop it real low. It's gonna be more challenging, or you can bring it up a little higher so you're making a little V. That's okay too. This knee is soft enough that it can stay right on top of or on the inside of that hip. So we don't want both legs out here. Not today.
Stop, exercise.
Good. Very nice. Go ahead and pull both knees in. Same thing on the other side for set 3. So this time, and you can leave your head on the floor especially if your neck is getting real tired, or if you want to hold a curl that's
Begin set 3.
you can do that if you want. Other leg, drop. Ooh, I'm gonna try to keep both legs as straight as possible. It's tough, and you're just gonna hold. Good. Play with it. Figure out what's right for you. Higher, better. Knee bent a little bit. Is that better? Knee bent, drop the leg. Is that better? That one's my favorite. It's hard for me to keep that leg straight. I'm gonna try. Try like a ballerina. Good. Lower back still on the mat. Very important.
Stop, exercise.
Remember what I said about those abs squeezing together like an accordion to tuck the tailbone underneath you? Same thing is happening here as is happening in a plank. All of this is squeezing together. Now set 4, something a little different. Head is
Begin set
relaxed
4.
this time. Hands can be by your sides or behind your head, whatever your personal preference is. We're gonna do Pilates scissors. Drop. Go ahead and pick that all the way up for me before the other one goes, please. And up and drop. Up and drop. Now if you want this last set to be a little bit more challenging, you can switch the legs at the same time. Whew, that's tough. Lower abs should be on fire.
Stop, exercise.
Good.
Go to the
Both
next
knees
station.
into your chest. Rock yourself back and forth very gently. Very good. All right. Now we're going to come back to hands and knees one more time. Be mindful of how you turn around. We're going to do a version of a kneeling row.
Begin set 1.
Now the reason I'm doing it this way, well actually go ahead and grab your weight. You're going to bring that elbow up, hold that, and you're going to pulse it. Now the reason I'm doing it this way is because a kneeling row is fabulous, but not everybody has access to a bench. So we're all going to do it on the floor. But we're going to pulse that elbow right at the very top. Notice I'm not coming down because the floor is in my way. Plus, you know, a lot of people have pretty strong upper backs. A lot of people don't have very heavy weight.
Stop, exercise.
Hand weights, that is. So a pulse is going to burn out that upper back a lot faster than full range of motion does, especially when the weight is this light. All right, let's go ahead and switch. Good. So again, you know, you want to make sure that you have that nice
Begin
flat back,
set 2.
no rounding. You also want to make sure that you're not sort of sinking into that supporting shoulder. Neck is nice and long, spine is straight. Notice how high my elbow is getting. You can see it poking up on the other side. I want you to wrap that one shoulder blade around your spine. A lot of people are very familiar with the concept of squeezing both shoulder blades together and pinching a penny. A little bit tougher to do it one time at a time, or one side at a time, pardon me.
Stop, exercise.
But that's what we're going for here. Good. Now I don't want to overload the shoulders too much, so we are switching every time. Now if your shoulders really have had enough of this kneeling position, that's okay. You can always
Begin
come to
set
the kneeling
3.
position, fold the torso forward, and do the same thing here. It's easier on the shoulders. It is a little bit more complicated though. So if you feel like you want to keep strengthening that supporting shoulder, everything feels good, you don't have any acute injuries, this is going to be a lot simpler. Pulse and squeeze, every single time. You're hitting that trapezius, you're making it burn. Beautiful.
Stop, exercise.
All right, go ahead and switch on over to the other side. Now if you want to, right here, so never a bad idea to do a little cat-cow. Here, little breaks. You just happen to be in the right position for it. All right, set 4.
Begin set 4.
Squeezing that shoulder blade hard. And breathing. Good, belly button is in. Back is flat. Neck is long. Spine is straight. God, you're squeezing that shoulder blade so hard. You want that beautiful upright posture. One way to get that is strengthening that upper back. Breathing.
Stop exercise and
Beautiful.
switch to the next
All right, go ahead and
station.
give me a quick child's pose. Oh. And we're going to go ahead, come on up to standing, taking our weights with us. Please be mindful about how you do this. All right, so we're going to move into our arm series. We're going to start with a very simple bicep curl. Up and down. Now, bicep curls. Soft knees, glutes and abs lightly engaged, and the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Real important that they don't do this, where the elbows go back behind. We also don't want the elbows floating forward. I see both of those a lot, because both of those are how people cheat. Good, keep that core nice and tight. This here is set 1.
Stop
Beautiful.
exercise.
Go ahead and bring those weights right on up to the tops of the shoulders. Set 2 is going to be shoulder pulse. Now, shoulder pulse is going to look a lot different for different people. People who have very healthy shoulders, very strong, you can pulse higher. You can pulse
Begin
wider.
set 2.
However, if that bothers your shoulders, you're going to drop the elbows. This is going to bring you into a more neutral position. You can bring the elbows more narrow. That also can bring you into a more neutral position, or even all the way narrow. That's legitimate too. But you'll notice my forearm here, no matter what position I'm in, is always stacked on top of the elbow and perpendicular to the floor. So not this, not this, not this, yeah? Keep that alignment.
Stop exercise.
It's gonna keep you from messing with your rotator cuff. Good, 3, 2, 1. Good, drop the elbows. You're gonna take one big step back, hike the elbows up high, tricep extensions. Good.
Begin set 3.
So here, it's like we're starting with a row, right? We get the shoulder blades squeezed, chest is open, but instead of dropping the weights toward the floor, we send the weights behind us and those elbows stay high. The shoulder blades stay squeezed. And those triceps stay burning. Belly button in. Now you notice my split stance here. My back heel is up off the floor. Both hips are pointing in the same direction. And you want to keep that core nice and tight. Give your lower back that support. Woo!
Stop exercise.
Beautiful. Come back up to standing. One last shoulder move. Go and roll your shoulders back and down for me. Now, if your shoulders are very tender, you're going to go back to pulsing, whatever felt good, okay? But if your shoulders are healthy, you want to give it a try. We're going to try a fly.
Begin set 4.
Soft elbows, like Barbie. You're going to come out to the side and then back. Now, you notice my range of motion here is small, okay? We're getting that deltoid cap. Again, if you're trying this and you don't like it, give me a pulse instead. But if that small range of motion is like, you know, I could do more, that's okay. You can come up a little bit higher. The biggest thing here though, I do not want that arm to come higher than the level of your shoulder, please. Good.
Stop exercise.
Beautiful.
Your
3,
training is now
2,
complete.
1. Ooh, looks so good, ladies. Now, I want to say hi, but I have to run upstairs